こんばんは皆さん、ダウンタイムポッドキャスト番号83へようこそ。今夜はアリサちゃん、どうですか？
Oh my god.
Hello and welcome to the 83rd episode of Downtime Podcast with Jeremy and Alyssa. Alyssa, how's it going? That was a great reaction. I was actually trying to catch you off guard. Well, if you couldn't tell, this is our Yakuza Kiwami 2 Spoilercast, and Elise is still reacting.
Oh man, Oh god. Anyways,
How are you?
I think I'm okay. I think I'm okay right now.
What's going through your mind? Tell
What
me.
was going through my mind was like, are you trying to do this whole intro in Japanese? I don't know any Japanese. Like,
I literally did it in Japanese, and now I did it in English. But it's all good.
Yes.
You can keep that if you want. You can keep that in the edit. I don't really care.
Hey, I'll probably keep it.
Cool. But like I said before, this is our Yakuza Kiwami 2 spoiler cast. So if you have not played Yakuza Kiwami 2, I suggest you go finish the game before you listen to this podcast, because this is the
storyline podcast.
Yeah, this is a no bars hold, no reins free, everything goes podcast where we will talk about everything story related to Yakuza Kiwami 2.
And scene.
So for starters, Lisa, what do you think about the game as a whole?
The game as a whole. So Yakuza Kiwami 2, or as I'd like to call Everyone is Korean, is a...
Yeah.
I think that the more I think about the game holistically, the more I really, really like it. And I would say that this game, for me, is tied with, in terms of enjoyment of the whole thing, it's tied with 0 for me.
Okay.
Yes. And by the way, in the rankings, Yakuza 5's first, and then it was 0, and so like now I'd say 0 and Kiwami 2 are kind of on the same level.
Yeah, I would have to agree with you with the sentiment. Although I can't agree with the 5 part since I haven't played it.
Yeah.
I would say 0 and Kiwami 2 are definitely up there.
They're definitely like
6.
This is definitely like one of the better, like this is on the better spectrum.
Definitely, totally. And not to say that any Yakuza game is horrible, but for us so far, these are the best ones that we've played.
Yes.
So yeah, for me, it's 0, Kiwami 2, and then 6, and then Kiwami.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, no, I thought the game overall is great.
Yeah.
It's using the Dragon engine. It's definitely got the same feel as Yakuza 6.
They cleaned up the Dragon engine on this one for sure.
Oh yeah, it looks amazing.
There were points in Yakuza 6 where the Dragon engine was okay and it was fine, but because that was the first game that they used employing that new engine, I was struggling a bit in certain parts where it's just like I wanted to move somewhere and I was struggling a bit, or like it's staggered. But this time around, it was very fluid. I thought that this was the best use of Dragon Engine so far. Granted, I've only played 2 games that use this engine on Sega, but very satisfying.
Yeah, I agree. I just felt like everything was really fluid. This is really minor, but I agree with your sentiment that the engine got better in this game. Because when I was playing the batting cages minigame in 6, there was a part where he would walk up to the plate in a cutscene, and it kind of stuttered a little bit. I don't know if you've ever noticed this.
I'm trying. I don't think I noticed it too.
I don't know why I noticed this, but when he walked up to the plate in the batting cages in Yakuza 6, it's like the scene stuttered like a tiny bit.
Yeah.
But then in Yakuza Kiwami 2, you kind of find out that he the same exact scene doesn't have that same stutter. So I was kind of curious as to what they did to fix that.
Yeah, it was just technically a better job.
Yeah, I don't know. It's it looks cool. I like it looks cool that they the whole fact that they updated everything in a certain way, even the minor details. Because, I mean, I don't even know why I noticed that tiny little detail, but I'm glad that they fixed a lot of things that the way it went wrong with 6, in a sense, because I feel like 6 was definitely their testing ground for the engine.
Yes.
And with Kiwami 2, they definitely kind of perfected it in a way.
Definitely.
Yeah, continuing thoughts on the game overall. The gameplay was solid as usual. You have the same fighting styles as 6, which is, it's more of like a quote-unquote dragon style, which is a combination of different styles from 0 in a way. And it's also the first game you got to play as Majima in the Dragon Engine, and the first game in a while that you get to play as Majima.
Yeah.
Albeit his story is very, very short, and I was kind of sad that it was this short.
It was definitely a much more contextual sub-story to provide context with why Terada did everything that he did.
Yes.
And
it was very self-contained as well.
Yes. And then on top of that, it was also a closure for the Makoto and Majima storyline.
And let's talk about that real quick since we're on the topic.
Yeah.
I really liked the Majima storyline overall. I thought it was really cool, but there were some parts where I was like, this is really boring. I'm just walking around and I'm not really doing anything. But the storyline overall was awesome. I definitely was looking forward to how they're going to wrap up the Makoto Makimura / Majima storyline. And I thought they did it really nicely.
Yeah, because remember how we were talking about, like, we don't even need them to fall in love. We just want her to acknowledge that, like, she knows who Majima is.
And she did.
Yeah. That's all that mattered.
Last scene.
All that mattered. Like, I didn't want a love story. All I wanted was just for her to know about the guy who saved her and the guy and like the guy who cares about her. And I was like, yes, motherfucker. Sorry.
No, it's fine. I just like how when she was massaging him, she's like, "Oh, I got my eyesight back from this guy who helped me 20 years ago," and he's like, "Oh, fuck, that's me." But he can't say anything.
I know. It's like, yeah, all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I like the idea of new beginnings too. New beginnings for Makoto moving away, and for Majima now that this has closed. So,
yeah.
Aside from that, yeah, the storyline was much more clinical to the Yakuza hierarchy. And whether it wasn't exactly exciting. So, I mean, like we said, this is much more of just context to what Kiryu's storyline is. So it's not fleshed out.
Yeah.
So, by any means. It's only 3 chapters.
Yeah. I kind of feel like we got gypped with the Majima storyline since it was just really short and you didn't really quote unquote play as Majima. Like you did, but it didn't feel wholesome. Like he was already upgraded to a point where you don't need to eat anything. You just drink the drinks and replenish your health. You don't have to upgrade him. There was no skill tree with Majima. It was literally ferry Majima from point A to point B to continue the story. That's how I felt. Yeah, no, closing thoughts on the Majima storyline. I think that it was fun. Definitely added a lot more depth to Majima as a character. Wrapping up the whole Makoto Makimura storyline was awesome. And I liked how there was a little nod to Yuki when he passed by Forshine.
Yeah.
And like she's like, was that? No, it can't be. But I really wanted them to talk, and I'm so glad that they did during the Cabaret Club storyline. I'm like, oh, they're talking to each other. That's so cool. Oh, that was great.
Oh man.
Yeah.
By the way, that the Cabaret Club storyline was a lot of fun. You can't have a terrible time in Cabaret Club. I don't know a single person who's played this and did not enjoy the Cabaret Club, but it was cool that Yuki is owning her own club now. Yeah,
and then she became a hostess.
I know,
like towards the end.
Yeah, basically OP. So
yeah,
gotta beat everyone. Gotta show them who's boss.
Yep. So I really like the Cabaret Club storyline as a whole.
Yes.
So let's get into the meat of this whole topic of discussion. Every time we talk about the Yakuza games in a spoiler cast, we kind of do it differently, and I think we're going to stick to that tradition. I don't want to go into every chapter because I think that's just too much since this whole game was like 13, 14, 15 chapters.
It was 16 chapters.
There we go. I was off by one number. So at its heart, the game is about Kiryu settling a score with basically his rival, like his nemesis.
Yeah.
Like there was another dragon, and they kept saying that Ryugoji kept saying that Ryuji Goda kept saying that there can only be one dragon and there's two dragons, and I was like, okay, let's see what happens. I know you're gonna die, but
I remember in the demo when that happened, that was so badass. I was so excited when we played that.
Yeah,
that was when I got super hyped for this game. That was what really, definitely, like, it was a first day buy.
Yeah, I mean, like seeing Kiryu fight basically a clone of himself, in a way physically, but not really mentally or motive driven wise. I think that was really awesome that they had a character that was like Kiryu but from a different region, and they both want kind of the same thing. And the only way that they can both achieve what they want is to kill each other.
Yeah, definitely. An interesting thing about the beginning chapters was the introduction of the Dojima family, and we see like basically teenager Daigo, and in his puffy white jacket, but I just wanted to point out that Yayoi Dojima, holy crap, what a badass.
Yeah.
Oh man, I was not expecting the intro chapter or the very first chapter to even feature her. Like I didn't have any expectations, but the fact that she was the matriarch in charge. Oh man, that really made a difference. One thing I will say about this game is we got a lot of very strong female characters in this.
Yeah, and I want to take a moment to talk about Bei Kaoru Sayama. Oh my god, dude. Okay, first of all, I thought she was gonna die, and I was like, I'm not about that right now. I don't want her to die, because I was like, damn, like you and Kiryu need to like go off and make babies or something, because this sexual tension is too much for me.
I didn't think she was going to die. I thought that they would have been separated though at the end, like they didn't end up together at the end. And thank God none of that happened. So
Yep.
Oh my god, it was so good. It was, first of all, I liked her character a lot. I like the way she's just a, ragtag detective, always trying her hardest. It wasn't, so we'll get into all the detectives, but there were straight up like 4 detectives in play in this game, and none of the storyline went how I predicted it would go, because I thought that like one of these detectives was gonna be like a huge traitor and a huge mole. It turns out that all of the detectives were good, which is like, how the hell did that happen?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, but go back to Bei. So one, like, very pretty, 2 very strong, 3 did not take shit from anyone, and I'm just so happy that Kiryu and Sayama found love, because they deserve it.
They both need it. They've both been working these hard cases.
Yes.
Spending too much time together.
I know. Yeah, that was that was awesome.
Yeah, it was a really nice touch, and it shows a lot more of Kiryu, for me, at least as a player. I could see more of his soft side, I'd say. Like he kind of opened up a bit when it came to Sayama, and she definitely opened up when it came to Kiryu, and I think it was really awesome that we got to see a more loving side of Kiryu and how he deals with romance, because we've never really seen him deal with romance like on a storyline level. Like all the side stuff all the sub stories don't really count.
Yeah. And what was really cute was so in the beginning of the storyline, Kiryu has to go back and do Yakuza thing, so Haruka has to go back to the orphanage, and then Haruka is kidnapped, of course, because that's like that's always how it is, and Kiryu has to save her. And so when Haruka is finally back with Kiryu, Haruka basically gives the stamp of approval for Sayama, because Haruka basically says, yeah, like, I don't think I've seen like Uncle Kaz smile like this like for anyone else. I was like, yes,
Yep.
come through.
Yep. It's like Haruka was the mom, and she's like, I approve.
Yes, except she's the fucking like 13-year-old kid.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. Sayama's a great character, and I really do hope that we see more of her in future installments of the Yakuza series. If she
Yeah.
doesn't die, don't tell us anything. Don't spoil that for us.
Yeah, or else that's some
Yeah,
shady shit.
I'm gonna go find you. You know what I mean?
I know.
Um.
So since we're talking about, yeah,
Go ahead. No,
I was gonna
let's
say,
continue.
since we're already talking about her as a detective, let's just talk about all the cop characters and all
Yeah,
the detectives.
please.
Yeah. So there were 4 main detectives and cops that were in this. One of them, of course, being Kaoru Sayama, and then the next one being Besho, and Besho is her boss. And then there is another detective who is actually in the very first scene of the game. His name is Kaora. And you don't know for the longest time how he, like, he even is doing. And then you have Date, of course.
Yeah. Besho, I have to say, is like the classic stereotypical looking cop character. He, like, the way he talks is very Osaka, but also, like, at the same time very stereotypical Japanese cop drama.
Yeah.
Like style, the way he acts, the way he looks, like the way he smokes. Like, everything about him is just very, very stereotypical, but I like that character a lot. I think he's awesome.
Yeah, it's like what you expect.
Yeah.
I feel like it's like this for also Korean dramas and Chinese dramas as well.
Yeah, like, there's just this, I don't know how to explain it. That's just how he is.
It's the look. It's the...
It's the way he talks.
Yes, it's the stereotype. Or not stereotype, it's the... I don't know, it's just... He's it. That's it.
He's like the classic example, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, the guy that plays Kawara, he's actually the actor looks exactly like that. For those that don't know, the voice actor's name is Susumu Terajima. I forgot what he's been. He hasn't really been anything that came over here, I believe.
Mm-hmm. Oh man, he really does.
Yeah, he's a pretty famous Japanese actor, and yeah, they based the character model off of him. So when Mayu and I were playing the game, she's like, "Oh, I know that guy." I was like, "Yeah, me too."
Interesting.
Yakuza continuing the tradition of scanning people's faces and putting them in games.
Yes.
Kawara, at the beginning, you think he's like this horrible person. Like, he just kills people left and right. You think that he's like a contracted killer, but of course it turns out that he had an agenda the whole time. And I thought that was a really interesting twist. And I felt like it was going to go in that direction, but I also wasn't sure. But yeah.
I didn't know what direction it was going to go in. Before we talk about that, so all of these things are in play, and it's uncovered that the Jingwon Mafia, the Korean mafia, is infiltrating Japan, but you don't know the extent of what's going on yet.
Yeah.
And basically, like, you find out that the Jingwon Mafia is everywhere.
I know.
And how do you feel about that? Like,
okay. Honestly, what's up with the Yakuza games and depicting foreigners as the bad people? Not to bash on the series, but like, why do they always have to put the Chinese and the Koreans as like the bad people? That's what it feels like.
Yeah.
Like in 6, you're fighting that Korean guy who owns Stardust, and it's like, why am I fighting Top from Big Bang? Like, why is this a thing?
Yeah.
But I understand at the same time why they do it, because if you just have this whole internal Japan versus Japan thing, that it kind of gets old. But at the same time, I like that they're doing this whole like external internal conflict, because it does add a lot of mystery surrounding the story. It really does keep you on your feet, and it makes you want more.
Yeah, I just couldn't, like, basically everyone ended up being like the Yakuza Kiwami 2 was basically, turns out you're Korean. You're Korean. You're Korean.
Look under your seat. You're Korean.
You're also
You get a
Korean.
Korean.
You get a Korean.
Yeah, it's like, wow, this is who's going to be Korean next, you know?
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
let's spin the wheel. Who's Korean next?
I know. I was like, what is good? Like, that was,
Yeah.
Like, when it started going in that direction, like, all my predictions started changing.
Yeah. So it turned out most of the characters were Korean, and nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying.
We just want to clarify that Kiryu is not Korean.
Nor is Date.
Or Haruka.
Yeah.
We just want to clarify.
That's it.
It's hard. It's hard now to tell. Apparently.
Or surprisingly, you know, a lot of people might find this surprising. Majima is not Korean. How about that? How about that, huh? How about that? Maybe one of his eyes that he lost was Korean, but we
don't know yet. We don't know. It hasn't been revealed yet.
I can't wait for that sub-story in Yakuza Kiwami 3 where you find out Majima's eye that was lost is Korean.
Oh my god. Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that plot was very interesting. I was like, what? Okay. was my exact reaction to like finding out when all these characters became Korean.
Yeah, I thought in my mind I'm like, I thought this was a civil war between the two dragons, but you know, I guess not.
It's all this internal politics of trying to keep down the Jingwon and everything, and it actually like what was cool about this game was it employed a lot of flashbacks to Kiryu actually as a teenager.
Yeah, and that was interesting.
Yeah, and that was very interesting because what is his name? What's his mentor's name? Kiryu.
Shintaro.
Kazuma, there you go. So like Kazuma is, you know, like was basically trying to shoot out all these Korean you know, like all these people, the Tojo clan and everything, except for two people. One of those two people ended up being Terada.
Yep.
He's Korean!
Hey, Terada's Korean. Hey, welcome to the Korean Club.
Welcome to the Korean Club.
Yeah, so that whole thing was crazy.
Yeah.
Also, I thought the most unrealistic thing about this whole storyline, and this is super stupid and picky, but was that Osaka Castle opened up to reveal a giant golden version.
Bruh.
That was like Power Rangers level unrealistic for me. Like that's the one like that took me out of the game because I've been to Osaka Castle.
Yes, I know. You have too. I've been there too.
Yeah, you have too. So when I saw that, I was like, this is really cool, but this whole game is supposed to be like kind of quote unquote realism based. So that kind of took me out for a second. I was like, what?
Yeah,
you know?
I know. You thought that a ship was unrealistic. No.
Yeah.
All these temples have an underground bunker that leads to Mecha Osaka, Joe. So
yeah, that comes out of the ground and it's like, oh, what happened to the older version? I don't know.
I know.
Yeah, but that was cool. That was really cool and interesting. There were tigers in there.
Okay, can we talk about the bosses that like pissed us off the most? Because those motherfucking tigers, like
all right. Well, for me, the tigers didn't piss me off the most. There's actually 4 brothers called the Amon brothers, Aomon.
Oh,
and
yeah.
You probably will never encounter them, Alyssa.
Oh, I have no intentions of ever encountering them.
I hate them so much because the first one has 2 blades, the second one has a machine gun, the third one has a rocket launcher, and the fourth one, I forget what he has.
Can you knock the rocket launcher out of his hands or no?
Nope.
OMG.
And there's a point where you can't do any of your special moves on him. Like when you press triangle, you can't do any of those moves on him because it just doesn't affect him. Like his health doesn't go down because of it. So you have to get close and you have to hit them. And this is for all 4 of these guys. And I'm like, oh, I hate doing that because I just want to use my gun and get it over with. But of course, you know, the game has to make it harder for you.
Yeah, that's so
but
dumb.
Whatever. Your heat actions don't work after a while because they have a protective shield that prevents you from using any heat actions against them that'll effectively kill them. Like when you use your heat action next to them, when they have this circle around them, it doesn't reduce their health at all. You're basically watching a cutscene for no reason.
Of course.
Yeah, and then I'm just like, oh, that means I have to get closer and hit them. But then he points his rocket launcher at me and he shoots like 10 rockets at the same time, and then it's game over. I'm like, now I have to go through this whole stupid thing over again. But yeah, those are the hardest bosses for me. But I do agree with you. Before I met these guys, the tigers were annoying as hell.
Okay, there was a point where I was like, I might have to repeat this entire chapter. Like, I don't think I'm gonna win.
Yeah.
What the hell are even these tigers? Because the thing is like, of course, like my strategy going into this was, all right, I need to just focus on one tiger. If I just kill at least one, I just need one tiger first, and I need to make sure that like that one goes down, then I can just take care and take down the other tiger. But that in itself was really hard. Also, man, that whole chapter of Osaka-jo was incredibly unreal. Like, what the fuck was going on there?
Like the samurai and the ninjas and it just, that whole thing just took me out of the game, and I'm like, I'm not playing a realistic simulator anymore. I'm playing a action adventure video game.
Yeah.
Like it devolved from the plot a bit.
Yeah. And then on top of that, the ongoing boss that has the boot blades. Oh, jeez. I was not having it with that guy either.
That guy appeared out of nowhere. I'm like, that guy kept appearing out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And like, when you're going on the elevator up to fight the final boss, he appeared. I'm like, you're annoying, dude. Like, where'd you come from? Like, well, why? Why are you fighting me?
I know.
It's so random. Yeah, that was bad. But if you ever fight in the tournaments, Alyssa, you will encounter the Amons. You'll encounter the tigers. I'm not even joking. You'll encounter tigers in the arena tournament underneath Kamurocho Hills, like, you know, where Majima's construction area is. Like, if you go down there and fight in the tournaments, you'll encounter the tigers, you'll encounter the Amon brothers, you'll encounter just basically every boss you fight in the game, aside from the ones like that are supposed to be the main character bosses. Like, you won't fight Ryuji Goda down there, but yeah, you'll fight all the annoying people, and I'm like, I don't want to play the tournament anymore.
Of course.
I just don't. So that's why I bought like the weapons with unlimited uses, and I just like would sit in a corner and just kill them all.
Yeah,
like, I don't care.
Of course.
God. Yeah. So those are the bosses that annoyed me as well.
Yeah. What you no, we'll talk about the. Do we have anything else to talk about before we get to like the final chapters?
No, we kind of touched on the story a bit. There's a lot of nitty-gritty details that we kind of didn't really talk about, like the sub-stories. I mean, the sub-stories were fun. They're definitely a lot more varied.
Yeah, and what I liked, okay, I said this in a previous podcast, but I think this game has the best sub-stories of a Yakuza game that I've played so far.
Agreed. I have to agree with that statement.
These sub-stories were hilarious, heartfelt. Like, they covered the entire spectrum and upped the wow factor on all of them.
And they were just hilarious.
They were
Some
absolutely
of them were just like
hilarious.
really funny.
Yeah. I like, for example, one of the very beginning ones, like the model.
Oh God.
Yeah. That was so random.
Yeah. Well, the guy takes photos of you.
Exactly.
And then you're like, "Are you the director?" And he's like, "Nope, I'm the director." Like, why are you like mostly naked?
Yeah, like what's going on right now?
For real.
What I like about the Dragon Engine is the fact that a lot of the sub stories that you do, these people can help you in battle by giving you an item during a heat action if you happen to be standing close to where the sub story took place. So that's what's cool about the Dragon Engine and how they incorporated that into the battle system.
Agreed. And kind of a tangent on that, I have to say I do like the transition between cutscenes and actual gameplay, because there are moments when I was like, holy shit, like I was watching a cutscene and then it cut to them talking again, but I couldn't tell if it was the game or if it was still the previous cutscene, but I would just have to look at their mouths. But sometimes I couldn't really tell because the graphics of the Dragon Engine are just that powerful that I'm like, wow, I was just watching the cutscene in that location, and then they cut to the actual game with the two characters still talking to each other with full dialogue. And I'm like, wow, like this is cool. This is actually pretty awesome.
It is pretty awesome. Yeah.
But yeah, no, I digress. Yeah, I like how the Dragon Engine allows you to do a lot of things that weren't previously done in other Yakuza games.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, so the sub stories were great. The
The
mini
fucking
games were also.
grandmother's back.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's right.
Of course.
Yeah, all the mini games were fun. Of course, Elise and I have touched on the Cabaret Club mini game in the past, and that's the best and easiest way to make money in Yakuza Kiwami 2. You could become a millionaire in just 3 minutes.
Yes.
That's still my favorite mini game, actually, to this day, is the Cabaret Club mini game.
Definitely. And I really like golfing. Golfing is ways better than baseball. And
yeah, I agree.
I just like the challenges, even though the bingo challenge took forever for me to get. It was very satisfying when I finally got the entire tic-tac-toe board.
Nice.
Yeah.
Did you ever gamble or play shogi or play mahjong?
I don't think I played those games, but I did go to like the fourth floor card game with Haruka, like the one that you do in Yakuza Kiwami 1.
Oh yeah. Han and Cho.
Yeah, but I didn't do Mahjong. And I'm gonna be real with you, Jeremy. I don't understand how to play Mahjong.
Me too.
Yeah. Like it's played in a lot of family parties I go to, but I've never learned, and reading the rules on the screen I just didn't get. I just needed to watch a YouTube video simultaneously, but I never did that. So
yeah, it's like that scene in Crazy Rich Asians where they play against each other, and then like she wins against the mom. Like I was like, okay, she won. That's all I knew is that she won.
Yeah, yeah. So
yeah. So I mean, I think I'm the same way as you. I really don't know the rules, but I want someone to teach me in person, because the only way for me to learn a game like that is if someone actually physically shows me.
Yes, agreed. A lot of games like that are much easier to like be hands-on versus you watch something or read something and try to emulate it. So
yeah. I also did not go to the gambling centers, and I didn't play mahjong or shogi because I just didn't really find interest in those games. I also didn't go to the arcade a lot because I just didn't want to play the arcade games. I played Outrun a lot in Zero, and I just got tired of playing the emulator video games in the arcades. I did play darts, and I beat that. That was fun. And I didn't play too much of the crane game either. I like the crane game more in Zero. This one was a little harder.
The arcade was straight stupid this season, this game. So
yeah,
for what? Why did the crane game is 10 times harder now? I think it's only two prong. It's only 2-prong now. Like they did some shit where they went from 4-prong to 3-prong, or they went from 3-prong to 2-prong, and it was so hard. Like it was so hard to get anything. And on top of that, you're not missing much with the arcade games because Virtual On is stupid and so difficult to get to level 3 on that.
Yeah, I tended to avoid the arcades altogether as well.
Yeah.
I just didn't want to play the UFO catcher. I didn't want to play any of the games there.
I did pee though. So
that was fun. Yeah, that was interesting.
That was different.
I did pee. It's out of context. It just sounds funny.
Hey.
I went to the arcade. I didn't go to the arcade, but I peed.
But I peed.
Yeah. Yeah, that was fun.
Yes.
But other than that, I mean, I didn't really play too much of the mini games as a whole.
Yeah, same Z's.
And you wanted to go into another topic? I'm pretty much done with this.
I just can we talk about their date and just like their kiss and like...
Oh yeah, totally.
Oh my God.
The whole date with them drinking on the roof was awesome.
Oh my God, and then she had a teddy bear, and
that
was adorable, and they come from similar backgrounds. They don't have parents, and like or like like we didn't know Saima had a parent still alive,
right.
But like
I'm like, y'all are made for each other. I swear to God, if Sayama dies in a future Yakuza game, I will be so sad because she doesn't show up for any of the future games. So either I have to assume she left the country altogether, or something really bad happened to her, and I don't really want anything bad to happen to her because I think her and Kiryu are like a match made in heaven.
The
you
best.
know? It's like
yeah.
opposite. Yeah, opposites attract. You know, she's a cop, he's a criminal, and yet they find a common theme of love with each other, and I think that's so interesting.
Yes, exactly. And God, so first of all, what ends up happening is it's revealed that turns out that the detective Kawara is actually Sayama's biological father. And
Yep.
it leads to a lot of conflict because it turns out that teenage Kiryu was present during the deaths of a lot of people who like, you know, like, so to speak, Sayama, the like her clan, or like, you know, the gang that she was associated with. And just like there was a lot of drama, and then Sayama, like, you know, says that she's gonna go back to Osaka to figure things out, and then they're alone together at Serena, and and you know what it is.
Yeah, you know, the chemistry just built up.
I know. And that totally happened, and like, oh my God, I like screamed, by the way, when they kissed for the first time. I was like, yes!
I was like, it was a long time coming.
It's happening.
I know, and then they like parted ways right after that. I was like, oh, come on. Yeah, that was cute.
Yes. It was awesome. It was so awesome. Anyways, true love.
I'm hoping that they continue this in the next Yakuza game.
I hope so too.
Because the ending showed Haruka, Kiryu, and Sayama all together.
Yes.
And it's cute because none of them have their real families, but they made a family together.
Yeah.
Isn't that adorable? That's such a like that whole ending scene was so cute. Are you messy crying right now?
Yeah. It's so good. It's so good.
It's God. We love Yakuza. We love the Yakuza series.
Yes.
So I hope whatever announcement comes out of KF Funny Games, kind of Funny Games showcase is awesome.
Yes. Hopefully Kiwami 3, or you know, like just like anything really.
Give me the port. Give me Kiwami 3 or the port. I'm happy with either. Like just give me more Yakuza. That's all I want.
Yeah, basically. In terms of the final boss battle, I think you said this, but where do you rank the final boss? Like not necessarily just the battle, but like the whole like lead, you know, the whole final chapter.
I have it underneath 0. I think I said that before. Either I put it above 0 or underneath 0, but it was definitely tied with 0.
Yeah, Shibusawa is just too like the lead up to Shibusawa and the context of that is just really like incredible. It's hard to beat the storyline regarding that. I
agree. I totally agree. But I have to give props to the first Kiwami battle, like Kiwami 1's battle. It was very emotional. Yeah. So that's up there too.
Yes. I will say I didn't so in terms of the ending, like I beat Goda and then Tarada appears out of nowhere. I didn't expect to fight Goda again.
Yeah, for real.
Like when it turns out that he was back to being alive, I was like, "Are you?" Or like, I mean, like Kiryu doesn't kill people, but like when he actually woke up, I was like, "You gotta be kidding me! Are you like again?"
And, like they both still wanted to fight. I was like, "Kiryu, are you stupid? Like, why are you both still trying to fight?"
There's a bomb.
Yeah, like you guys are fighting and there's a bomb. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yes, of course. OMG. So. Yeah. But I beat it in one try. If you listen to the podcast, the first time around, I was definitely on a more average level, so I was probably a standard battle, and then the second time I beat it in like 5 minutes. So
yeah, the whole game past chapter 5 for me was just too easy combat wise since I maxed Kiryu out with everything. So the final battle for me took like 30 seconds.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, I guess I'm gonna do this.
Yeah, and then that sword, the demon blade, is so nice.
Yeah.
So useful.
Oh, yeah.
It's so great.
I remember buying that right before the battle started. I was like, I'm probably gonna use this because there's that guy selling all the black market stuff right before you walk up. And I was like, why is he here? But everything was expensive. I was like, all right,
well,
I have all this
go hard or
cabaret,
go home.
I have all this cabaret club money. I might as well use it.
Yes.
Yeah, but no, we touched on the final bosses before, but we also did reiterate our feelings about it.
Yep. And then it turns out that the bomb was fake.
Yep. Or it wasn't fake. It was real, but someone like pulled the fuse, so it didn't go off.
Presumably Ryuji figured it out a while ago. And yeah. So real quick about the bombs. A really funny, one of my favorite scenes that came out of Kiwami 2 was when you first find out that there's 30 bombs in Tokyo that you need to unarm, and it's Majima and his assistant, and they're just trying to figure out which is the correct cord to cut. And then it's like, do you know? Like the assistant goes like, do you know what you're doing? And Majima goes, no.
She's like, just cut wires. And he's like, what? You've never known this whole time? Like, what the hell?
I know.
But before that, I thought it was kind of funny when they're talking in Stardust, and then Ryuji comes in, and he's like, I'm here to fuck shit up with all my gang. And then Date and Kiryu are like, so it wasn't you that put the bombs? He's like, what are you talking about? Of course that wasn't me. And they're like, what? so Goda was like kind of confused too, but he was at the same time, he's like, I would never go do something like that. I'm too manly for this. I'm walking away. Yeah. And he just walks away. And then like, Majima, can you take care of the bombs? He's like, all right. And then it leads into what you were just talking about. Yeah. So that was really funny.
But yeah, I thought it was just funny. It's like, it wasn't me. I don't want to die.
It was literally a Mexican standoff between the Jingwon Mafia, Ryuta Goji and his men, Ryuji Goda and his men, and Kiryu. I was like, oh my god, this is just too much.
I know. Exactly. I just it's weird that Terada ended up being the like actual bad guy in the end.
Yeah, I mean, when I saw him reappear, I was like, oh shit, you know?
I know, I was like, what? What is going on right now?
Yeah, I was like,
you're
oh
Korean.
My god, they're pulling.
That's right.
Yeah, he pointed at people, you're Korean. But it was both surprising, but also within the Yakuza formula, I felt like that Terada would reappear.
Yeah, of course.
It was cool.
Yes. Soundtrack was good as always. I always love the Kiwami or just the Yakuza series soundtracks. So I enjoyed. One of my favorite songs is the battle music when you're in Osaka or Sotenbori.
Oh, yeah.
That music is way better than the one that's in Tokyo in Kamurocho.
Yeah, no, I agree. I have to say, I'm a sucker for some of the J-pop in this game. I'm still in love with a lot of the karaoke songs.
Yes. Oh, dude. Oh, I was about to say, like, when you finally play Yakuza 5, it's fucking J-pop central. It's the best shit. So
I'm gonna love it.
Yes, it's so good.
Hell yeah. Okay, I'm looking forward to that.
Yes.
All right. Any more closing thoughts before we head out?
I guess my closing thought is I think this is like this is very much like a very good Yakuza game, and I would say that this is like of the ones that I've played already, this is a top tier Yakuza game.
I agree. Yeah, despite any negative critical perceptions we've had of the game so far, just like anything we kind of mentioned, like graphical details or just any of the boss battles or just our sentiments towards some of the fighting mechanics, I do agree as well that this is probably one of the best Yakuza games that we've ever played thus far.
Yes.
A lot more to come. They did announce that Yakuza 3, 4, and 5 are going to be localized for PS4. officially. So that's only in Japan, but they don't know if they're going to bring it to the West yet. But there's definitely a lot of interest since these past few Yakuza games have been doing quite well.
Yes, and anything's possible, especially because Sega has been doing a lot of those polls. It's like, do you want localization? And basically everyone's been answering like, duh.
It's like 99% yes.
It's like, no, we do not want localization.
Yeah, it's like in Mario Party when you get enough coins and you go to the star, you can either buy the star or you could pass. It's like, why would you pass? You know, it's like, why would you say no?
Good.
Of course you want more games.
Yeah, good Jesus.
Yeah. So I do really hope that they announce either the ports are coming to the West tomorrow during the KF Games Showcase, or that a Kiwami 3 remake is coming. Either way, I'll be ecstatic about it.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, Alyssa, anything else?
No, I think that is it. Thank you, everyone. If you want to make some comments about the Yakuza series, go to our Discord, and you can find the link at www.downtime.live. Email us at contact@downtime.live. Any platform which we post the podcast, YouTube, Stitcher, Podbean. Just make a comment if you want to say anything. We're on Twitter, and you can write us a review on Apple Podcasts, and we'll read it. So, yeah, thank you for listening to the 83rd episode, and I hope you enjoyed the Spoilercast, and we'll be talking more about the Yakuza series as they come.
All right, yeah. Good night, everyone.
Yep.
See you next time.
Good night.